Hi everyone. This video I'm just going to go over a new feature that we just added recently, and that feature is a payment request form. Now for those of you that are already using the API forms in the system, you're probably familiar with the payment form, and this is very similar to that, but it's going to make things a little bit easier and cause less problems. So if you aren't familiar with the payment form, this is the standard payment form. What this form actually does is it just adds a payment to the client's trip in the system. So this form and the new one I'm about to show you, you cannot send out to a client unless they have a profile, trip, and reservation in the system. But there are some issues that I've come across over the years with this particular form where it causes a headache for people. So because this is attaching the payment to the client's trip, Vacation CRM needs to be able to find the logical match between the info on this form and the trip that it should go under in the system. So one of the reasons why we created this new form is what I've seen here is sometimes a client who does have a trip in the system will fill this out and they will get an error when they try to submit that will say confirmation number not found, please contact your travel professional. What that means is VCRM could not find them and or their trip in the system to match it up. Now if you look at our API documentation here, it tells you the three things that VCRM looks for in order to match payments from that form to the correct trip. The primary and most for sure way to get it to go in there is by the confirmation number, which is the booking number. So if the client enters that, no matter what name they use or email address or any of that they use, if that matches their reservation in VCRM, it will allow them to submit it and it'll put it under the correct trip. Now, where I see a lot of problems with this is, let's say you have a couple, a husband and wife, that are going on a vacation, and let's just say that the husband is the one who filled out the original registration form. So he made himself passenger one, and when he entered himself and his wife, he entered all of his info, his email address, his phone number, and then he enters the address. When it creates profiles in VCRM, the husband has a completely filled out profile. His address is in there, name, email address, phone number, all of that. For the wife, it's probably just the basic info like name, gender, date of birth, and that's probably about it. Now let's say that they want to make a payment and the husband's busy one day and he calls his wife and says, hey, we need to make a payment on our vacation. Can you fill out this payment form with our new visa that we just got so we can submit that? Now if she fills that out and she does not enter the confirmation number or booking number because maybe she doesn't have it in front of her, and then VCRM goes to step 2, it looks for a match by email address. So it has to find the email address on the form has to match the email address on the profile that has a trip under it with a balance. Now chances are she's going to use her email address, which is not in the system, so it can't find a match there. So then it will move to step 3, where it will look by the name, the billing name or the name on the card has to match the profile's first and last name. Typically it'll find the match on the wife there, but it also needs to match up the zip code. And because he filled out the form, the address is under his profile, not hers, so it won't find a match there either. So that's where a lot of the issues are. So what we did is we created a way for you to send out an actual payment request that is already tied to you, the agent, and that client's trip. So all they have to do is basically enter their credit card info and click submit. It also shows them their balance on there. So there's a couple of things that you'll want to do first if you want to use this. For one, you want to go to your email templates, or for admins, if you're using the agency-wide templates and all your ICs are using those, you can set it up in default email templates. But on this account, I've set up my own user level ones here. So I'm just going to go in here, and then at the bottom there's a payment request form. So you're going to fill it out with whatever you typically send to a client when you are requesting a payment. So I just kind of put something basic in here, but you want to use this payment request URL, which I've added right here, and then click save. Now you can also use this payment request URL in some of the auto email templates as well, so any of the payment related ones. So final payment reminders, you can see right here I've got a link to my payment form. I could replace this with the payment request URL if I would like to now. Same thing with the past due payment reminders or monthly payment reminders. Any of those, you can use that instead of your traditional payment form. So I've already set that up in my regular email templates with an actual template, and I'll just go to a trip and you'll see a button here for send payment request. So the way you'd use this is you would just click this and it's going to open up an email ready to be sent in your email program. You can see this is the template I had in VCRM, and then it gives them this link they can click on to view their invoice, or I'm sorry, to view their payment request form. So they click on that. I've already opened one and filled it out, so you didn't have to sit here and watch me fill out the whole form. But this is what the form looks like. So it shows their balance at the top, their final payment due date, and you can see there's no option to select an agent because it was already sent from a specific agent. So VCRM knows that it is that agent, not some other agent within the agency. And there's also no spot for them to put in a confirmation number because, again, this form is already tied to their booking in the system. So they can fill it out with whatever credit card info they want, and they sign, and then they submit that. And now that has been submitted. And now if I go to my dashboard, and in the reminders section, you're going to have a new web payment request from today's date. And then after that, it's exactly the same as the regular payment form. It's going to show all the info in here, including the credit card number. You can update profile with payment info to save it to the client's profile, or you can submit it to the supplier. So all of this is the same as it always has been. It's less steps for the client to actually submit that. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, give it a try and let us know what you think. Thank you.